Welcome into the PHNX Daily Bets Show, brought to you by the one and only DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, leave a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. Johnny, you little stinker. Aaron wants why don't we just get right to it? Well, you see, Johnny, you want to explain yourself? Just go ahead.
Oh, I get to explain everything. So if you missed our PHNX Super Bowl 56 special that aired 3 p.m. on Sunday, right before the Super Bowl, first of all, shame on you if you missed that. You can go back and rewatch it because it is a hell of a good time. We had a final segment basically talking about game lines, MVPs, and this doucher over here said that he believed Cooper Kupp could win the MVP at plus 600. And we know he did fraudulently, by the way. Aaron Donald, you watch that game and you know football. Aaron Donald should have been the MVP, but you know, officials and voters have a bias against defensive players. That's fine. The perfect sandpit hole, snake hole scenario unfolded for your boy. I said very confidently, and I stand by this, that there is no way that Matthew Stafford could throw for 3+ touchdowns and for Cooper Kupp to win the MVP. I believe that it would take like a 200+ yard game, multiple touchdowns, a couple of egregious Stafford throws, basically have it be a shootout and Cooper Kupp save the day. That's not really what happened. What happened was Stafford was bad early, threw a couple picks, and then came back and played a nice fourth quarter. And the fact that Beckham was out, too, basically everything fell into place for you perfectly. If Beckham doesn't go out, Cooper Kupp doesn't go off. The fact that the Bengals, I don't know what the hell they were doing that final drive, allowing, like, not doubling him. It was the most egregious defensive possession I've seen from a team all season, given that the Rams were out of offensive players and they kept going to him. I am disappointed because on the show, I was forced into a bet that if Cooper Kupp
shook my damn hand.
Cooper Kupp, you put me on the spot. I wasn't ready. If Cooper Kupp won the MVP, I would dye my hair blonde. Then I immediately, once the show was over, said, I'm not doing that. No chance in hell am I looking like Shane. Here's what I did say. Then Shane's trying, while we're watching the Super Bowl, trying to force me into taking the ACT. I'm a soon-to-be, I turned 34 in 2 days, by the way. I'm a grown adult man. I've taken the ACT. That time in my life is over. I'm not doing it again. Here's what I will say. Shane was correct. I was incorrect. I will do something embarrassing here in the next 2 weeks, preferably when Shane and I are at the NFL Combine. He can put me through an embarrassing act. You can televise it, stream it, whatever you want to do, record it for the world to see. I've thrown some ideas out there. I'll chug Tabasco sauce. Maybe in Indianapolis, I'll run shirtless or sockless outside. We will come up with something. But I do feel like I was cheated by the officials because Aaron Donald clearly was the MVP of that game.
Well, that was a very good 4-minute defense by you, Johnny, but still, I'm just glad you're owning up to it. In the chat, let us know any ideas you have to punish the small boy to my left. And if you come up with something that's good enough, we might just do it. The thing that I am applauding myself for is I know that the MVP submissions and the voting comes in before the 2-minute warning. So, yeah, I didn't think Cooper Kupp was going to end the game. I'm just kidding. I didn't know that until after. But still, even with the ending pressure, I still think Cooper Kupp scored the game-winning touchdown, had almost 100 yards, and
I think what did it was like he had that catch and got laid out touchdown that didn't end up getting called, and then he came right back and he scored again. Like, Bengals, what the hell are you doing? First of all, you have the lead. You're up by 7. Run the football. And they're like, well, our offensive line has multiple backups against the best pass rush in the NFL. Let's throw it every down to stop the clock and subsequently get our already injured history quarterback sacked again. That was their game, and they blew it. And when you're getting the T. Higgins no calls to begin the second half, I'm sorry, Bengal fans. Like, you can't complain about
Yeah.
a maybe not hold in the red zone. Like,
The
you blew it well before then.
the only complaint I really have is the consistency of the game. They were playing prison yard football in the secondary for mostly the entire game, and then they decided to call it tight at the end. But other than that, I mean, yeah, there was a missed call on the obvious face mask offensive pass interference, whatever. Yeah, lots of stuff to go over from the Super Bowl. We'll just pick out some of our favorites because this is going to take way too long if we go through all of them. We'll go to the obscure props. Johnny, we'll go to yours first. No
The
purple.
Gatorade shower. Listen, if you give me plus 1,400 on
Yeah,
anything, I like
sure.
it. No kicking the uprights. That didn't work
Would have
out.
been fun.
And then I do not believe he
So
thanked
listen to
God
this
first.
shit, dude.
Okay.
I bet on this, and Cooper Cup accepting. I thought this was for sure a lock. I was fired up, and the first thing he says is, I wouldn't be here without God, but he didn't say I want to thank God, and then he said I want to thank my teammates. So he gave
That's
it to
bullshit.
yeah. So that was unfortunate.
I checked out at that point because I was
Yeah.
so horrified that Cup had won the MVP.
Yeah.
That bet meant little to nothing for me.
We'll get into my obscure ones. I just told you it was blue the entire time. It
You
was blue.
didn't know that.
I was fired up when that happened. I was doing snow angels on Saul's carpet to cap off a very good betting day for myself. There was no flea flicker attempt, and the first touchdown score was Odell Beckham, which I did bet on, not through the show, but yeah, I can show you my receipts. I did have a pretty nice day because of that. And I am now convinced, 100%, 1,000%, a billion percent convinced that the Dieffenbach is cursed by some other entity. My God, Odell had 52 receiving yards in the first half. And ban turf, completely take it out of the equation. If that's a grass field, he doesn't tear his shit. He easily surpasses 62 and a half, which was the total I gave out on Friday. Yeah, I'm convinced there's a higher power working against me, Johnny.
The turf monster. I mean, listen, Bengals, he was destroying you, and you got the biggest quote unquote break in the game, no pun intended, with him tearing his ACL, and you couldn't recover from that. Prayers up to Odell. I was kind of laughing because they kept showing him on the sideline, and like, you never know with Odell if he are the tears sincere. Well, clearly they were. And I was happy that he ended up getting his ring because he's taken a lot of grief over this past 18 months or so, and clearly that pickup by them was tremendous.
I think in part the reason why you were laughing so hard every time they showed him, because every time they showed him, I'd put my head down.
It wasn't about Odell. It was directly at Shane's disappointment that his bet was not going to hit. He was like, maybe he'll come back, and they're like, he's in street.
I never said that. I said he's completely out. As soon as
You're
I saw it,
he's coming back next possession, and I'm like, he's not.
I never said that. Well, other Super Bowl props, we didn't really do well in the player props category. We'll go over them really fast. No Jamar Chase touchdown. T. Higgins had a huge game, but he didn't surpass 5.5 receptions, and Joe Burrow did not get out of the pocket. No Mixon touchdown. Odell obviously scored the first touchdown.
But Higgins did have two straight. Higgins was dominant. I just missed that first one.
Yeah. Stafford just completely breezed by that 282, finishing with 283 passing yards. And then, as I said, the Odell receiving yard sucks. And Cooper Kupp didn't have a tremendous game. No Von Miller first sack. The Rams over first sack, and
Rams had
over
like 7 sacks.
So yeah, not the best display here, but that's kind of what the Super Bowl is for. Is just
like Beckham's injury changed the game, and I think a lot more of our bets hit if Beckham doesn't tear his ACL.
The last thing I want to say about the Beckham thing and the game overall, we were saying this on Friday and on Sunday that for the Bengals to win this game, the Rams were clearly the superior team. The Bengals kind of got here with turnovers. They need to force multiple turnovers. They did. They need to get lucky in some way. They did with Odell. And they need to have a great performance from one of their receivers. They did in T. Higgins, and that still just wasn't enough.
They won the turnover battle. They literally forced 2 turnovers. They did not turn the ball over once. They did not miss a field goal. They played pretty well, but they were given so many chances in the second half specifically. Remember that period at the end of the third, early fourth, they got possession after possession after possession, one scoring drive, and they win the game. and
Yep.
they couldn't do it. They couldn't even put together like sustainable drives to flip field position.
I will say one other thing. If the Rams lose this game, McVay is under so much heat, not only for what he
I
did
know
in
I
this
wanted
game,
that.
but for what he did in the past couple of games. And Zach Taylor is now the one catching all the flack. And yeah, the P. Ryan being in on 3rd and 1 doesn't make sense to me when you have Mixon. But there were so many egregious things. Like McVay got exposed after Odell got injured, 100%.
He did.
It was shown that nobody could do anything. Same with Van Jefferson. He got exposed a little bit. He couldn't get open at all.
No, they wanted to waiver claim Josh Reynolds earlier this
Mhm.
year after he got released, and he ended up, I think, in Detroit.
Yeah, Detroit
They
played
were
really well.
right. Josh Reynolds and Robert Woods were their passing game with Cooper Kupp last year. They lost both of those players. They lucked out with Odell, and then when Odell was gone, I mean, had Odell gotten injured against San Francisco, they're not in the Super Bowl.
No.
Had he gotten injured against Tampa Bay, they don't advance out of the divisional round.
No.
I mean, they literally put together their best defensive performance of the postseason for about 2 quarters to supplement for the fact that they lost Odell Beckham, and it was enough.
100%. It's going to be weird seeing what McVay ends up doing. Same with Aaron Donald. But yeah, overall, good game, fun game to watch. And if you didn't bet on it, shame on you. But you can bet on more things on the DraftKings Sportsbook app coming up, like the props and picks we're about to display. It's safe, it's secure, it's reliable, and most of all, it adds a little oomph to everything that you do when you're watching sports. Because now that there's no more primetime NFL games to bet on, there's going to be some like Brooklyn Nets ugly games to bet on, just some gross things, and
some Ben Simmons points unders to bet on.
Yeah,
109 points.
Some over a half a 3 made for Ben Simmons. But it's the official sports betting partner of the NBA, and this offer is too good to pass up. You can bet just $1 on any team and win $150 in free bets if they win. It's just that simple. They also have same game parlays in the NBA, which I love doing. One of mine was ruined last night by the Warriors, who just didn't decide to win. Can we just say the Suns are easily the best team in the NBA, and it's not close? I mean, my God.
Right now, although when we get to my picks, I would say that tonight could be a night to pump your expectations, because that line against the Clippers, oh my God.
Well,
what is that line?
Well, they're on the back-to-back. They just beat the Warriors, which is what happened last night. But yeah, you can bet on this. You can bet on anything we're talking about, anything you want, right here at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. That's 21 plus, Arizona only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customers only. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for more details. Well, Johnny, let's get into your picks then.
Yeah. So listen,
it's a lot of
points. The Suns are the best team in the NBA. They're going to handle the Clippers tonight. 13 points is a ton of points, and the Clippers, by the way, have been playing really good basketball as of late. And for them, I mean, they're not a great team by any stretch of the imagination, but they're a 500 team. They're not one of these teams like,
and they're underperforming.
Right. They're not one of these teams like Orlando, who's won like 9 games. The Clippers, as you mentioned, just beat the Warriors, right? They just beat the Mavericks. That's a ton of points. And you mentioned it, back to back. It's going to be difficult. I think it's going to be somewhere between like 8 to 10 points max. So that to me stuck out easily this morning. And then you go to my game of the night.
Talk about, you just love drama.
James Harden's debut against the Boston Celtics. I think they win. I take the 76ers money line +3. Give me them plus money all day. James Harden knows the East. It's not like he's coming over from the West now. He's been in Brooklyn for a little while. He's played the Celtics many, many times at this point. He and Embiid are going to light up the Celtics. Yes, I forgot him for a second. And I'm really excited about it, even though I think Jason Tatum's going to have a big night, and I'll tell you why. Miami Heat have won 5 straight. Has anybody talked about this? They're playing phenomenal basketball.
Mike Luke has.
Yes. The Mavericks just lost, by the way, to the Clippers. So I'm going to say that the Miami Heat stretch it to 6 straight games. It's kind of, we're starting to see now the true contenders in the Eastern Conference. Not the true contenders in the NBA, because I think the East is big time fraudulent. But of course, you're talking about the Bucks, the Heat, and now I believe the 76ers are in that class. And then there's that tier below with what remains the scraps of Brooklyn and Toronto and Chicago, teams that are fraudulent, second round exit teams, that kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure. This trade deadline specifically is really kind of
the NBA doesn't disappoint, man. You just say what you want about it. It's people think it's a diva league. I'll tell you what disappoints. Major League Baseball, NFL trade deadlines usually underwhelm.
Yep.
We know we're in for at least multiple goodies in the NBA.
Yeah, and I've been saying this since the start of the year. I think this is the best year the NBA has had in a while. Not even in terms of viewerships, but just how much fun I've had watching it. Shout out Julius Randle again last night.
Oh God, stop!
Triple double, 30 plus points. He's just a beast. This is going to be an easy win, guys. Yeah. Look, I think they cover. I think the Suns cover if DA does what he does against the Clippers like he did in the playoffs, which he definitely can. So if that happens, Johnny, watch out. But other than that, 13 points is a lot of points. So I don't mind taking the points for the Clippers. We'll get into my picks now. The Atlanta Hawks, a team that I thought was really, really good at the start of the year. I bet on their over win total, and they have been stinky, to say the least. But they've been playing a lot better. They have the Cavs at home tonight. I like Darius Garland. I like this young Cavs team, but I think the Hawks are just too good right now. I think Trae Young has a big night. That's going to be a fun one to watch for sure. Those are two of my favorite teams to watch in the NBA. RIP Cam Reddish, but he is now on the Knicks, which is the best team in the NBA. Best team maybe ever to play in the NBA. And then Johnny,
Excuse me, what?
I also like the Heat -4, as you said, hosting the Mavericks. The Mavericks are a weird team to me. Luke is just a weird guy to me. Stole Western Conference Player of the Week from Chris Paul and Devin Booker yet again, which I just don't agree with. So I'm taking the Heat -4. And then in that Cleveland-Atlanta game, I like the over at 219. Both young teams like to run, don't play a ton of defense, and it's hovering around that 220 range, which they usually hit game night in and night out. So I like the over in that game as well.
I don't hate those picks. I think it's fool's gold anytime you bet on the New York Knicks. And
I didn't bet on the Knicks.
You were just talking about the Knicks.
Yeah.
You said they were the best team.
Because Cam Reddish is on the Knicks now. I didn't bet on the Knicks today.
I just think
this shows the viewers. Look at me, guys. This is what I have to put up with day in and day out. I'm talking, I'm speaking, and Johnny's looking down. And then as soon as I take the graphic off the screen, he looks back up and he makes fun of me because he doesn't listen to me.
That's never happened. You make fun of yourself with your picks
and my hair.
I don't mind your hair. I told you I didn't mind it.
That's nice. That's nice. Well, Johnny, you have a cute little prop tonight.
You hate Jason Tatum, so I don't want you commenting on this
so much.
Why do you hate? No. Tell the people first why you hate Jason Tatum.
I've explained this on the show before.
No, you haven't.
Yes, I have multiple times. I wouldn't hate Jason Tatum as much as I do if he didn't have like this stan fan base that he has. Everyone loves him so much.
Well, doesn't most organizations have a player like that?
No, Donovan Mitchell doesn't have a fan base like this guy. Like it's little 13-year-olds all across the world who thinks he's so cool
because maybe just in Boston.
No, it's all across the world. He has like a massive fan base for no reason, and he kind of rivals Devin Booker because they're both young. Core pieces of their team weren't great when they joined, but everybody thinks Jason Tatum is one of the best players in the NBA. Multiple All-Star selections. And he's not. He just isn't. He disappears games, like for multiple games at a time. And then he has one big night, and people talk about how he's the best player in the league, the best young player. It just doesn't make sense to me. Devin Booker is a far superior scorer, playmaker, even defender at this point. I just don't think he's that good. It's empty stats for this guy, Jason Tatum, who really hasn't done much with the Celtics team in the East since he's got there.
Well, he just put up 38 and 10 against Atlanta.
Yeah,
I don't know what you.
He did that for one game. Watch him. He might not disappear tonight, but for like 3 games in a row, he'll have like 14 and 3.
We're gonna have a shootout in Philadelphia tonight, and Jason Tatum's going to be a big catalyst in that. I'm surprised that is not plus 200. It might by the time the game hits, so you might want to wait. 29.5 points tonight, I think, is easy money. He is on a hot streak right now. He had 24 against Denver, who's a good defensive team. The Sixers are pretty average defensively. I would say this is an opportunity. Not, he doesn't have to travel to the West Coast. Easy buckets against potentially the likes of James Harden, having to D him up a little bit tonight for a new team. They are going to let it fly. Again, pound the over for this game and pound the over for Jason Tatum. 29.5 plus 16, or excuse me, plus 160.
Definitely a marquee matchup. Jason Tatum.
It's the game of the night. It's the game of the night.
He's going to want to step up in this game. Don't mind that. The only way I could see this flopping is if he gets into foul trouble, because James Harden is very good at drawing fouls. Leah just outed you and said he was literally sending a Slack message just then.
I wasn't. Well, I'm doing my job. I have to do my job.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff going on. As I mentioned, big fan of this young Cavs team. Big fan of Darius Garland. Big fan of his hair more than anything. I like his over 28.5 points and assists tonight. And then another young guy. I like LaMelo Ball's point total in this game. By the way, where do we have these in here somewhere? Let's see. This one. From Friday, we didn't go over these. Friday, I hit both of these, by the way. And I hit my prop, went 3 for 3. But this game, the Charlotte and Detroit over, they scored like 170 or 270 points in this game or something ridiculous. So that was a fun pick to lay on. And then Johnny, you pushed in that Friday game, and then DeMar DeRozan did go over in that. So
I don't even remember any of this. It's before the Super Bowl.
Yeah, not much going on in your brain when it comes to remembering things 3 days before, right?
It's true.
Yeah. Anything else to tell people, Johnny, before we get out of here?
Check out gophnx.com. I believe we've got 20% off all Phoenix Suns merchandise. So if you're trying to look fancy, and some of our new tees, including do you have the point guard graphic? If you don't, you should. And this, you probably don't. You can check it out at gophnx.com, the PHNX merchandise locker. It is superseded, I think, the U of A t-shirt that we have. Here it is. Oh my God. Look at that fresh tee. I can't wait to rock that really all throughout. That's probably going to be my 2022 Phoenix Suns NBA Finals go-to t-shirts. And you can get that at the PHNX merchandise locker at phnxlocker.com, $29.99, or you can just get it for free if you sign up at gophnx.com for a year membership, just under $60. If you want to dip your toe in, I understand, 50 cents for the first month, $8.99 for the subsequent months, and you'll be in good shape. Always in good shape, rocking PHNX gear. You're muted, I think, suddenly.
I am.
No
now.
One can hear you.
Yeah. Anyway, I was gonna say it's nice and breathable, and it's getting a little warmer now. The forecast is calling for it to get a little colder the next couple of days, but
yeah, I saw that gross 60s.
Yeah, we live in Arizona, so it's gonna get hot at some point. Guys, thanks for always tuning in and joining us on a wonderful Bets Tuesday. We'll be back tomorrow. Right here on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. You can follow me on Twitter at Shane Deef. You can follow Johnny on Twitter at Johnny Venerable. You can follow the show on Twitter at PHNX_bets. And guys, remember, stop betting on parlays. Just take straight bets.
What does that mean? Is it because you've missed on a bunch of parlays? You're telling the people not to bet on parlays?
I had a couple friends. Don't bet on parlays. Straight bets. We'll see you here tomorrow. Peace.